sobrevivir a esto. Tú y yo. ¡Comandante! ¡Espera!
No, seguimos avanzando.
I want to know which aspects of the tone or style or maybe topics of Tolkien work were you more worried to respect when creating new storylines, new characters?
Really all of it. I mean, you know, I'd say the broad answer is you want to make it feel like Tolkien. You want to make it feel like Middle-earth when you're going there, and that's the big mission statement. But the language, I think, is something we spent a long time really focusing on. You know, we read Tolkien every day. We start our writer's room with a quote from Tolkien, and there's a certain way that language works that is, it's elevated. There's a beauty to it. And we wanted to make sure that we could capture that kind of special beauty on the page. But then also every other detail imaginable. You know, in our costume department, every detail, every filigree, every little crest and insignia, it was worked out and has some reference somewhere into the Legendarium and into this 9,000 year plus history that Tolkien spent his life creating.
I would say if there's one, though, I think we really talked a lot about tone and the feel of it. You know, we sort of zeroed in on this idea that, you know, part of what makes Tolkien and Middle-earth is that you've got all these different kinds of beings and societies, you know, living in, you know, sometimes in conflict and sometimes in fellowship with one another. And it creates this, you know, warmth and, you know, optimism and whimsy, but also high drama and intensity. And you know, Tolkien can be quite scary and people can die and the stakes couldn't be any greater, but then it can also be sort of sweet and funny and a hobbit singing a song. And something that could contain both of those tones felt really important to try to capture. Right? If people feel that way, then we'd be very happy.
Talking about this amount of societies and creatures, for you, what were you more excited to bring from his world to your perspective? Maybe elves or hobbits or what? What was for you?
Sure, all of them. You know, I think the big thing with this show was really wanting to, you know, hopefully adapt and bring to the screen aspects of Tolkien's style and world and writing that maybe hadn't quite been seen before in prior adaptations. So, you know, our dwarves, you know, they're funny and sort of quirky and irascible the way you think of dwarves, I think colloquially, but they're also like quite, you know, dramatic and there's sort of a Shakespearean, you know, family drama at the heart of it that develops as the episodes go on. And, you know, our elves are, you know, ethereal and strange and highfalutin the way elves are, you know, colloquially, but also they're fiery and they're passionate and they're intense and they're flawed. You know, and I think across the worlds we tried to look for, you know, not just the same flavor that, you know, you might have seen in the animated adaptations or Peter Jackson's adaptations, but hopefully, you know, stuff that can coexist with those tones, but that comes right from the books.
But which one do you like?
The most?
Yeah, I love the elves the most, or I wanted to do a new things for humans, or
I think we all love all of our characters, but I think like, you know, there's also like, you know, we each have affinities, you know, for certain. I love there's a beauty and a wisdom and an ancientry about the elves that I think is amazing. But, you know, but I think
I love the dwarves. I love being in that world, and I find the characters as portrayed by Owain and Sophia just incredibly charming and winning, and it's a world every time we go there in the show I just find myself smiling, and other times it makes me tear up. There's some very emotional work there later in the season which I really love, and the world looks so beautiful in the Second Age. It's rich and teeming with life, which I find was really fun to work on and develop with our team.
I could go with orcs.
okay.
You know, orcs are a whole other, you know, race of beings in Middle-earth, and, you know, we really wanted to do them justice, and Tolkien talks a lot about their origins and their personalities in a way that, you know, we worked really hard to capture, and I think, you know, if by the end of the season people feel like they understand where orcs are coming from a little more, that would be something we'd be very excited about too.
We have 2 Hobbit girls, we have Kikin as Galadriel, and much more. Were you worried to compensate the, I don't know, the too much testosterone in The Lord of the Rings? Was something you wanted to do?
No, I think we were just interested in storytelling, and there's storytellings you can tell with all kinds of different people. They come from all kinds of different places and backgrounds and life experiences. And Middle-earth is filled with wondrous beings and races and you know, of all kinds. And so just, you know, having really strong women is something that I think felt very natural to us. There are strong women throughout Tolkien. Galadriel is an amazing character. Eowyn, Arwen, you know, in sort of the Third Age. And so we figured the Second Age would also be populated with really awesome women too.
And our cast is about 50-50 men and women. So, yeah.
But no, I was going to add to that. Just I think one thing we talked a lot about is wanting to do a show that was maybe surprising and maybe felt different than other stories you'd seen in Tolkien's world before. And part of that leads you to hopefully new characters and new dynamics. Maybe they feel familiar but different, and that's something we talked about a lot. How do we tell a new story that has new themes and new ideas that are straight out of the books? But again, it's not the same dynamic you've seen before, or trying to recreate one, but hopefully find something fresh.
And you say you wanted to, with the orcs, like see new things about them. What about bringing back Isildur? Is he going to be like redeemed from the stories we know?
I think he's going to be dimensionalized from the stories we know. In the stories we know, he just is the kind of guy who takes the ring and has a chance to destroy evil, but makes a mistake and doesn't do it. We want that to be the final decision in a tragic but understandably human arc. We talk about Michael Corleone from the Godfather a lot, where he's a character. He starts off a certain place, and you see these inevitable decisions that he makes along the way. That as he slowly becomes the person that he is in the end. And if in the end, when Isildur keeps the ring, you say, "Oh my gosh, like it's so tragic and painful," but like I get how he got there. I see what he's lost. I see how he's suffered. Then we will have done our job as storytellers.
Ya has luchado bastante, Galadriel. Depón tu espada.